Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your sources, dig in deep, and pull out those crucial nuggets of knowledge.
That's the plan.
Today, we're tackling something fundamental: universal access to clean water and sanitation. It sounds basic, right? But it gets incredibly complex, especially now, with growing water scarcity.
Absolutely. It's not just a basic need. It's tied into health, economics, the environment, everything, really.
So our mission today is to unpack all that complexity. We're diving into an academic article you shared called Achieving Universal Access to Clean Water and Sanitation in an Era of Water Scarcity: Strengthening Contributions from Academia.
A bit of a mouthful, but important stuff.
Exactly. We'll pull out the key facts, the surprising bits, what you really need to know.
And it is critical, because achieving this, well, it looks simple on paper, maybe. Water in, waste out.
Yeah.
But the reality, the how of doing it universally, that impacts billions of lives. It's profound.
Okay, let's get into it then. Where do we start? Maybe the Millennium Development Goals?
Yeah.
The MDGs?
Good starting point. They ran from 1990 to 2015. Big push on global development.
And water and sanitation were key targets. For drinking water, the progress looks pretty impressive on the surface. The source says 2.6 billion people gained access to improved drinking water sources.
Yeah, 2.6 billion. That's a huge number, no question. A massive global effort.
But I sense a but coming.
Well, yeah. It's fascinating, but also quite sobering. Despite that number, the scale of the problem was still enormous.
How so?
Okay, so the source points out that in 2015, after all that progress, 663 million people still lacked even an improved drinking water source. Any improved source.
Right. Still over 500 million people.
Exactly. And here's the kickle, the nuance. 2.1 billion people lacked access to safely managed drinking water at home.
Okay. So improved doesn't necessarily mean safe.
Precisely. That's the crucial distinction the MDGs sometimes miss in practice. Improved might just mean a covered well, but is the water actually safe? Is it available when needed? Is it right there at home? And to really drive that home, the estimate was that 1.8 billion people were using drinking water contaminated with fecal matter.
Wow. Okay. That really reframes that 2.6 billion progress figure. That's a massive hidden risk.
A huge public health issue, kind of lurking beneath the surface statistics.
So that naturally leads to the sanitation side. Similar story there. Progress, but big underlying problems.
It's a very similar pattern. The MDGs targeted sanitation too. And again, progress was made, definitely. But the shortfalls remained incredibly stark. In 2015, you had 2.4 billion people lacking access to improved sanitation facilities. Think about that. Nearly a third of the planet.
2.4 billion.
And maybe the most shocking figure, 900 million people globally were still practicing open defecation.
900 million? That's hard to comprehend.
It is. Now, to be fair, there was improvement. The source compares 1990, when there's about 25% of the global population practicing open defecation, to 13% in 2015.
Okay, so the percentage halved, roughly. That's significant movement.
Significant, yes. But still leaves 900 million people. Shows how far there was, and still is, to go.
So zooming out, the MDGs mobilized a lot of action.
Definitely. Huge resources, global attention.
But they didn't quite crack the code, didn't get to the root causes, or maybe didn't account for things like future water scarcity.
That seems to be the takeaway. And part of it was how progress was measured. Focusing on improved rather than safely managed meant we didn't always grasp the full, true scope of the safety and sustainability problem.
Okay, let's dig into that safety aspect more. The source mentions pollution, especially from untreated human waste. That map sounds quite alarming.
It really is. It highlights what might be the biggest challenge for safely managed sanitation. It's not just about building toilets.
It's what happens after you flush.
Exactly. Where does it all go? The map shows estimated fecal coliform bacteria (FC) levels in rivers globally, around 2008-2010.
And fecal coliform means, well, contamination from sewage, right?
Essentially, yes. Indicator bacteria. The map has categories: low, moderate, and severe pollution. And what just leaps out is the severe category over 1,000 FC units.
And where is that severe pollution concentrated?
Very heavily in parts of Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Regions where, sadly, a lot of wastewater, a lot of human excreta flows untreated directly into rivers, canals, open sewers.
Turning water bodies into health hazards.
Precisely. It graphically shows the scale of the wastewater treatment challenge.
So connecting that pollution map to people's actual access, what did the source say about regional differences? You mentioned Africa, Latin America.
Yeah, the disparities are really stark. In Africa, the source notes that effective coverage for safe water, especially in rural areas, remains really low.
Like how low?
Figures like 10% in Lesotho, 32% in Mozambique. Even in relatively more developed countries like South Africa, maybe 66% effective coverage in rural areas alongside Zambia. It shows the immense difficulty.
Why is it so tough, particularly in rural Africa?
Factors like dispersed populations, just the sheer cost of infrastructure in remote areas, and a high proportion of households simply unable to afford connection fees or regular payments. Poverty is a huge barrier.
Right. And Latin America, you said urban areas did well.
Yeah, a huge success story in urban drinking water access, jumping from 40% coverage in 1990 to 90% in 2010. Massive improvement.
But the rural areas?
Still lagging significantly. Over half of rural communities rely on small, often informal systems. Think community wells, small local providers.
Which might not be regulated or consistently safe.
Exactly. Less oversight, often less reliable, less likely to be properly treated. So you get this deep inequality between urban and rural access.
Okay. So we've seen progress, but also these massive persistent challenges, contamination, regional gaps, rural deficits. It makes you ask, why? Why is it so hard to fix, despite decades of effort?
That really is the core question, isn't it? And the answer, according to the research, is multifaceted. There's no single silver bullet.
So what are the main barriers the source identifies?
Okay, first, there's insufficient supply capacity. It's not just about pipes, it's about having enough water reliably available to put through them. And that's getting harder with climate change and competing demands.
Like agriculture, industry.
Exactly. Who gets the water? That's often a political question as much as a technical one. Second, financial resources. It's just hugely expensive.
Building and maintaining infrastructure, treatment plants.
The whole system. Water, sanitation, wastewater management. The investment needed globally is enormous. And there are massive funding gaps, especially for ongoing operation and maintenance, not just initial construction. That's a major concern.
Okay, so capacity and money. What else?
Third, governance and institutions. This is huge. You need strong, transparent, accountable bodies to manage water resources, regulate services, set tariffs fairly.
And when that's weak?
Weak governance often leads to, well, corruption, misallocated funds, poor planning, and ultimately services that just don't work reliably for the people who need them most. It undermines everything else.
Right. Makes sense.
Fourth barrier, data and monitoring. It sounds dull, but it's crucial. It's surprisingly hard to get good, reliable data on who has access to what, the quality of water, how systems are performing.
Hard to fix a problem if you can't measure it properly?
Precisely. And it's hard to see the connections, how water insecurity links to food insecurity or health outcomes without good integrated data.
Okay, number 5.
Finally, a lack of integrated approaches. Historically, we've treated water supply, sanitation, water quality, wastewater management, and even the health of rivers and groundwater as separate problems.
Managed by different departments, different experts.
Often, yes, but it's all one water cycle. Treating them in isolation makes it impossible to find truly holistic, sustainable solutions. You fix one bit, but maybe break another.
Wow, okay, that's a complex web. Capacity, finance, governance, data, integration. It really drives home that this isn't just an engineering problem.
Not at all. It's deeply social, political, economic, and environmental, all woven together.
Which, challenging as it is, also points towards where solutions need to focus, right?
Exactly. It tells us we need to think much more broadly.
So that brings us to the next phase, the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 6 specifically. How does that aim to tackle these deeper issues? Is it different from the MDGs?
It is, significantly so. SDG 6 aims for clean water and sanitation for all by 2030. But crucially, it explicitly includes targets for safely managed services, not just improved.
Learning that lesson.
Yes. And it also includes targets for water quality, reducing pollution, improving water use efficiency, implementing integrated water resource management, and protecting water-related ecosystems like rivers and wetlands.
So much more comprehensive. It recognizes those connections you were talking about.
It absolutely does. It tries to capture that whole water cycle source to tap and back again perspective.
Okay, so the goal is more holistic. But how do we actually get there, according to the source material? What are the key strategies needed?
Well, building on those barriers we discussed, several key things emerge. Integrated Water Resource Management, IWRM, is central, really breaking down those silos.
Thinking about the whole system.
Exactly. Then strong policy and governance. We need adaptable policies, robust institutions that can actually enforce regulations, and genuine political will to prioritize water and sanitation.
And the money.
Financial investment? Absolutely critical. Finding sustainable ways to fund not just the initial build, but the long-term operation and maintenance. That might involve new financing models, better tariff structures, reducing inefficiencies.
Technology must play a role, too.
For sure. Technology and innovation are key, finding more efficient ways to treat water and wastewater, better ways to monitor systems, maybe off-grid solutions for remote areas. Lots of potential there.
Anything else?
Yes, a human rights approach. Explicitly recognizing access to safe water and sanitation as fundamental human rights helps focus attention and accountability.
Puts people at the center.
Right. And finally, multi-stakeholder collaboration. This can't just be governments. Civil society, academia, the private sector, international organizations, everyone needs to be involved, working together.
So no single magic fix. It requires hitting all these points. Integration, governance, finance, tech, rights, collaboration.
That seems to be the consensus. A deep, connected approach addressing the environmental, social, and economic dimensions all at once.
It really underscores how fundamental water is.
Absolutely. Achieving this isn't just about hitting a target. It's vital for public health, think reduce disease. It's vital for economic development. People are healthier, more productive, industries need water. And it's crucial for environmental sustainability. Healthy ecosystems depend on clean water, too.
It forces us to look beyond just the taps and toilets.
Yeah, to see the whole complex system, human behavior, policy choices, infrastructure, and the natural environment all interacting.
Okay, let's bring this home for the listener. As we wrap up this deep dive, what's the final thought we should leave people mulling over? You've helped us see the global challenge, the complexity behind something seemingly simple, so maybe something provocative. How about this? How much do you really know about where your water comes from?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Seriously, think about it. Where does it originate? How is it treated to make it safe? And after you use it, pull the plug or flush the toilet. Where does it actually go? What are those, almost invisible systems, pipes, plants, regulations, people that support your daily life? And maybe, just maybe, understanding your local system a bit better, how might that empower you to engage with these huge